Hi, James Jones, Director of the Mid-Pacific ICT Center in San Francisco at our 2013 ICT Educator Conference with Karl Cureton from the National Minority Technology Council. Hi, Karl.
Good to be here.
So, tell us a little bit about your organization.
Sure. The National Minority Technology Council, we've got 9,000 members throughout the United States. But most importantly is that we represent a $100 billion marketplace, 65,000 minority technology companies across the United States. And what's important about that is being a $100 billion industry, it's really important that we understand that conversations about ICT and minorities is something that's already happening. I just really want to acknowledge you of the work that you're doing with ICT, information communications and technology. And we actually believe that being here in San Francisco for your conference is really important to us.
Thanks for coming. So you came from Virginia, by the way.
Yeah, came from Virginia.
Across the whole country, and it's sunny and nice in San Francisco tonight.
And folks, you don't know this, but I have a gorgeous view.
So tell us a little bit about your membership. What kinds of organizations and people are you involved with?
Well, what's interesting about our organization is that we range from companies from startup, folks that are 1099s, starting at having a business, but just themselves are working. But the greater majority of the folks in our organization are folks that are running $1 million, $2 million businesses. Mm-hmm. Now, I will share with you, we've got fewer companies that are in. I was just talking to a company last month that's got 8,000 employees, happens to be a minority technology company out of Boston. Another company that does about $350 million out of San Diego. Those are anomalies. I think the largest minority technology company, if you don't include Sony, would be Worldwide Technology. So that there are very large corporations. They're hitting $3 billion soon. But the majority of our folks are doing between $5 million and $10 million a year.
Uh-huh. And what kinds of things are they doing?
You know, it's interesting, everything. It's just, you know, it's the law of large numbers. Mm-hmm. We've got 9,000 companies. So everything from doing research and development, SBIR, inventing things, to block and tackle network engineering, database, software engineering. A lot of federal companies, there's about 2,000 companies have GSA schedules, so they do business with the federal government. About 2,200 companies have an 8A, so they're doing business with the federal government, and they have some set-aside business that they're doing. We've got about 350 companies that are hub zone companies across the United States. So a great deal of companies doing business with the federal government, state government, local government, but also an incredible amount of number that are doing business with large commercial companies.
So the federal government wants all of the different communities in our country to prosper. And the ICT revolution is hitting everybody.
Yes.
These changes, profound changes that are enabled with information and communication technologies, you know, shouldn't just impact Wall Street companies. They should impact Main Street businesses and community organizations, and it should affect, you know, people in the Chinatown community there and the Mission District and the, you know, South American culture right over there, the Italian group over here. So I guess there are some government incentive programs that encourage these businesses.
Yes, they are, and I'll share with you. I mean, it's 2013, and you know, we just had conversations about Congress not only getting over the fiscal cliff, as it were, but I believe that there was over 100 people appointed just yesterday. So there's a lot of things that are happening in the federal government that look like it's a positive trend. But I'll share with you that the greatest thing that and we've done a lot of research, we do a lot of public comments on a lot of the policies that are happening in the United States. But what we've focused on and really been looking at is the fact that this president, President Barack Obama, is actually pushing business to small business at an extraordinary pace. I mean billions and billions of dollars. And in order to get that done, it's actually had 4 years of changing some policies in order to make that happen. And the next step that's happening right now is that small business really needs to begin to understand that doing business with the federal government isn't as complex as one might think. And the reason why it's not as complex is there's something called FAR market research. It's the Federal Acquisition regulations. And basically what it's saying is the contracting officer, and that's the person that actually does the business, that's the person, it's not the person that decides they need the business done, but in the federal government, it's the person that actually decides who gets to have the business, and it's separate for the person that says, hey, I need this done. That person is actually, by federal regulations, instructed to say, you know, and this is again with federal policies, start looking at small businesses and small businesses that can actually do the work. Why that's really important is that we as a country have an opportunity to really push a lot of that money that and I'm in Northern Virginia. If you go down Northern Virginia, there's really tall buildings with iconic logo names on top of it of federal contractors. They're doing really very well. And what's happening is that when small business comes together, they have an opportunity to actually partner with each other and actually go after larger contracts. And that's really what we believe is the important thing, that folks need to start working together, and that's really the big difference that we can see, and the federal government is making that available. So what I would say as far as a message today is that there are, from the Small Business Administration to the Department of Commerce, specifically even the Minority Business Development Agency, to the General Services Administration, the GSA, and then looking at a lot of these large federal agencies, they are welcoming small business to come in and start doing business with them. So I would say don't be afraid. There's a lot of money to be made. You need to be persistent, need to have a quality product, quality service, but it's time for you to start really looking at that as an opportunity.
So there's a lot of great opportunities for small business and especially minority-owned business to do business with the federal government. One of the issues that we're concerned about is workforce development.
Yes.
ICT already employs 1 in 20 people in the U.S. Those jobs are growing gangbusters. Employers are reporting an inability to find appropriately skilled workers, even in this period of high unemployment.
Yes.
And the way demographics are changing in this country, there's no way we're going to meet those workforce needs unless we're pulling from every segment of our society.
Yes.
And we need to attract and serve currently underrepresented groups in order to meet these workforce needs. And some of those underrepresented groups might feel better about entering the field if they have models of success of people like them. So someone like me with a background like me and from a culture like mine has realized success in this field. And they're bringing the benefits of their businesses and their applications of technology back to benefit our people and our community and what we care about. And that whole dynamic, I think, is really, really important. And
yeah, I not only think it's important, I think as a nation, it's strategic. So what I know that you're saying is that there's a term STEM, which you and I both know, science, technology, engineering, and math. And there's billions of dollars of federal dollars and foundation dollars and nonprofit dollars and individuals that are putting money towards this conversation you're having, because the truth is I'm in a very lucrative industry. When I say lucrative, I mean it makes a lot of money. People that decide to learn about technology, learn about different forms of technology, it is an area where you end up making more money per year because you decided to do that. So a lot of times with things in of that nature that folks believe that there's a barrier, that there's some sort of big wall you have to hurdle or cross in order to get through. And I think that one of the messages that are really critically important is that when President Barack Obama became president, all of a sudden folks decided, hey, maybe, being Michael Jordan isn't the only thing. Maybe I can be president. And so one of the challenges is that we need to really begin to expose these 9,000 companies, these 65,000 companies, and begin to let folks know, just in the San Francisco area right now, we have 370 companies. These are folks that own a technology company, that hire people, make payroll. And so I think that one of the important things is that, folks need to really understand that information, communication, and technology, that ICT field is for everyone on a global level. And I think that one of the core messages organizationally that we're wanting to share is two messages. The first thing is, as a parent, it's really important for you to have your children understand that learning about technology is more than just, playing a video game, or it's really important that folks really understand what is technology, how does the internet work. Don't just plug it in and say it works. Really have an understanding. And there's simple ways that you can make that. And you go look on YouTube. You can find out a lot of things. And that our school systems need to really be committed. And that's really why I'm impressed with what you're doing. Our school system needs to be committed to having technology be in the forefront. And the last thing that I'd say is that the community college system, I believe, is going to play a vital role in really kind of emancipating a group of people. Again, looking at demographics, and it's really, for me, not about race, it's more about disenfranchised. So it's more about folks that, whether you're in the Appalachians or whether or not you're in an urban community, it's really about folks that feel that there's a barrier, that digital divide is in the way, and that we need to begin to communicate with folks in such a way, whether we're doing it at church, or whether we're doing it in our neighborhoods, whether we're doing it at the library, whether we're doing it at the high schools, the success. And the true success is, if you don't choose to understand technology, you really truly are destined to have a very, it's risky as far as income, because really everything is touched by technology. It's not just, I'm going to be a database administrator. It's everything. You want to go work anywhere, you're going to be touching technology in some way.
So there's an ICT revolution. We're living through a period of profound change. The application of these technologies are changing the ways that we do things. And everybody, to be successful in the 21st century, needs to know how to work with these technologies. If you do, there's all sorts of great opportunities. And those opportunities are not just for big businesses, they're for small businesses. And they're not just for, traditionally successful populations, they're also for currently disenfranchised populations. They're opportunities for entrepreneurs, and they're opportunities for workers. So if people want to learn more about your organization, how do they do that?
Well, of course, we're talking about technology, so we'll say a website. National Minority Technologies Council's website is www.n as in Nancy, nmtcouncil.org. So go to our website. You can find out more about us. You can contact us. And I think that the most important thing is, depending on who's listening, I would say that if you're a student listening, you'd be really amazed at how much your professors know or your teachers know about what it is. A lot of times you go to the guidance counselor, you have to ask them the right question. And so to really, and that's why this ICT, acronym is such a beautiful acronym, because if you look at it, you're going to be looking at healthcare, you're going to be looking at networking, you're going to be looking at software. So it's really important to kind of say, look at ICT as a future possible opportunity for you and where it is you'd want to work. And as far as our members, those folks that own technology companies, I'll just share that the work that we're doing with your organization, with the National Science Foundation, is that we're really focused on making sure that we have a pipeline. And so what we're wanting to make sure is that small business is actually part who's at the table to say, here's what our needs are. And one of our core needs is that we've got to solve this disenfranchisement problem, because they're us. So, and I believe we will accomplish that this decade. And
all right. Well, thank you, Karl. Thanks for being here.
Pleasure.